That's something that hasn't been clear, that you guys can actually create stuff that is profitable, not just community outreach stuff. Oh, and also just realize that the pizza is 80 at Domino's, so I need to go get it. But there is drinks right now, so. Alright. Do you mind continuing eating it? And if it ever feels like dies down, you guys are free to like go ahead and take a break, and I'll come back to the pizza for you guys. So this is Roger. He has a company for drones, so you might want to pitch.
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
Alright, we got it.
Yeah, so I'm Roger Casino. I guess I have a little startup at my garage. We're trying to enter the drone space. So right now we're still in the development phase. We're close to finishing our product, but it was really frustrating because we were having problems with how we manufacture our product. And eventually we were just like, you know what, let's just go back to the drawing board. So that's kind of like where we're at right now. But what we really want to do is, I'm sure most of you here have seen 60 Minutes when Jeff Bezos was talking about Amazon Air Prime. And I really believe that the drone space is heading in that direction. Like right now, when you think of drones, you probably either think of military or you think of video, photography. And I really think it's going to go into the personal payload market, kind of like small packages, things that weigh under 10 pounds. But I really think it's going to be a big deal. So that's what we're trying to do. And yeah, I'm more than willing to help people out. We actually have a composite workshop in my garage. We can work with carbon fiber, fiberglass, and Kevlar. So you need stuff made out of that. And we also have a 3D printer. We're pretty good at 3D modeling as well. If you need something that's on SolidWorks or curated drawing, you can do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So. Well, I guess for a while, for a while we were a little down because we felt like we weren't really going anywhere. But I think it's coming back. Right now, we originally were designing a quadcopter, and it's an electric ducted fan quadcopter. The cool thing about that is there has yet to be a commercial electric ducted fan quadcopter reached on the market. And we really wanted to get on Kickstarter. I'm sure a lot of you know about crowdfunding. And it's like a really hot market. Like, just to tell you how hot it is, the last 2 drone Kickstarters, both of them cleared $1 million in under 30 days. And this was just last month. So we really wanted to launch our first electric ducted fan. Basically, it's a really high-powered thrust-capable quadcopter. Like most quadcopters right now, per prop, like per propeller and motor, will generate about maybe 300, 400 grams of thrust. We were generating 1.7 kilograms of thrust with a smaller prop like it. And it does consume a lot of power, but it's kind of like a Ferrari. Like a small car, we've got a lot of power in that small car. Versus, a Corolla, which is about the same size as a Ferrari, but it doesn't got power. So we kind of wanted to do that, but now we're doing it's like a hybrid. It's basically a fixed wing aircraft and a quadcopter. And I saw this something like it at the Maker Fair at San Mateo in California, like on the Do-It-Yourself Drones website. And I was like, man, we really need to do this because one of the main problems right now in the drone industry is flight time. When you see a quadcopter, odds are it's not going to be flying more than 10, 20 minutes, like a traditional DJI drone quadcopter. Just a quadcopter is like $1,000 price range, and if you can actually make it like that, like a fixed wing aircraft, like the model up there on the ceiling, if you can actually have that kind of capabilities. The cool thing about fixed wing flight is you can fly for a long time because the wing is actually generating a lot of lift. Whereas with the quadcopter, it's something called a quad rotor. All the lift is being generated by the thrust of the guts and the propellers. So that's why you can't fly for long. So we kind of want to make a hybrid boat. And that's where we're at right now. It's really fun because, like, I'm wearing all these new things. Like, I was pulling a lot of data off of the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign Aerospace Department, like, website. We have all these, like, cool data models of all these airfoils, like wings. And I'm just pulling this data, importing it on Excel, exporting it on SolidWorks, generating a 3D model of a wing, and putting it on my 3D printer, and then actually holding it. Like, that's what I'm saying, like, it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you have questions, my name's Roger, and I take over. All right.
Well, I'll jump in real quick and tell you that the Wi-Fi is kind of what we're doing is, if you look for the SSID or any of the SSIDs you're familiar with, I'm running a Wi-Fi pineapple over here. And what it does is something called Wi-Fi Karma. And that's basically where the way the Wi-Fi works is when you ask for a number from your device that, hey, I'm looking for Starbucks or whatever it is, the access point answers, hey, I'm Starbucks, let's have a conversation. What the pineapple does is whatever you ask for, say that's what it is. So if you're looking for your home network, I'm going to say that I'm your home network. If you're looking for Linksys, I'm going to say that Linksys, Starbucks, so on and so forth. It's a phishing device, so I can strip SSL headers and I can get all your data in and all that good stuff, but that's disabled right now, so that you guys can just add on. So look for Linksys, or once you send out a beacon looking for one of your, if you turn your Wi-Fi off and turn it back on, it will beacon to my device, and my device will communicate that beacon back. In short, look for Linksys.
Yeah, Linksys works.
You guys do it, that's both of the departments.
Drew, why don't you come up here? Like, Drew's got a lot of cool stuff happening with him as well. Like, he's got his own company.
Well, I'm waiting for Josh to show up. I don't see him yet.
And from what he told us last time, I think it was in May, he recently got VC back. So it's a big exciting time for him.
So what we're doing on Drew, what we're doing is we've got a couple really neat things going on, and I started a technology company a couple of years ago. A group of Mercedes and built a bunch of wireless internet ISPs and wireless ISPs down here. I haven't played with those guys, but essentially what we're doing, and we're showing off right here, the reason I got that big monitor, is next week on Wednesday, I'm presenting at a program called Wireless Field Day, and it's basically where all the wireless engineers in the United States and throughout the world tune into this webcast that goes on, and this group of candidates or delegates is flown out from all over the U.S. to go to San Jose, and meetings are set up with like Aruba and Cisco and Avaya and Airtime and Ruckus and every main Wi-Fi manufacturer. And these delegates are taken around from building to building, conference room to conference room, where they're given a technology presentation about the specific products, and then it gives them a chance to ask all kinds of really interesting questions, some of them very harsh, but it's a way for the wireless community to get to know the wireless manufacturers a little bit better. And I'm working with a company called Airtight, who developed some pretty neat stuff with them. And so I'm presenting at the Airtight presentation of Wireless Field Day, and then I'm going to get on the plane about DEF CON with some of my friends back home. But what we're doing is pretty neat. When Josh gets here, we want to see if you guys want to help us test it out. We want to test out the software that we're using before we take it out to San Jose and make fools out of ourselves. Essentially what it does is, if you look on your SSID list, on your broadcast list for your wireless networks, I don't know if it's up yet, but one of them is going to come up and it's going to say Frontier Street Demo. And don't attach to it yet until we get it going. Yeah, it's going to be on there. And what that does is it runs through a process, and I don't, have you guys heard me talk about Scrape yet? Yes, no? One or two? Okay, so what Scrape does is the basics of it was we figured out a way to make it easier to log into Wi-Fi networks. And the first way that we looked at it is if you went to a coffee shop, you had to know the broadcast network that you were attaching to, and you had to know the password to connect to it. And if you didn't know the password and someone else didn't know the password, you couldn't go online. So then you just get like guest passes and you go on with that. And so what we're doing with social media, we're allowing you to log in using Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, et cetera, where you hit a button that logs you in. And the first thing we did is we noticed that if you're going to log into Facebook and my Wi-Fi, you're going to give my app access to whatever your credentials are and whatever your Alexa does, Josh. So we did that at Roosevelt's first. Josh and I sat down and drank some beer, put our heads together to figure out how to change the user environment based on the login. So when you log in, it's going to go straight to your Facebook profile to find out if you like what type of music you like. If you like Garth Brooks and Josh likes AC/DC, then we combine that information into a playlist on Spotify and that plays Kid Rock. And so we're able to alter user environments based on musical selection. So anytime you go to a restaurant that's featuring our software, then you'll get to hear the music that you like as soon as you walk in. The second thing that we're working on today is we're doing it with video advertisements. And so what it's going to do is essentially when you go into a restaurant or a building or a hotel or wherever it is, as soon as you log into their Wi-Fi, watch the screens that are around you because the advertisements that they play for you are going to be based on what you like. They're going to be based on what your profile says you like. If you like Budweiser, it's going to play Budweiser commercial. If you like rock and roll, it's going to have rock and roll music playing in the background. And we figured out how to do this by tracking and analyzing traffic, tracking mobile devices and analyzing social media traffic. So it's kind of cool, kind of big brother-ish, but that's what we're working on, and we're presenting that next week. So feel free to stop by.
Cool. Thank you.
Or sometime. Anyway, who else is working on web-based projects right now? And you guys are okay. All right. If you guys, so the thing that I filled out, if you guys ever need access to hardware, if you need access to demo equipment, if you need access to wireless equipment, let me know. If you need playgrounds to test out your ideas, I've got a lot of customers that are willing to work with new and exciting ideas. Maybe we can make something work there. So whatever you guys need, if it's on the hardware side, that's mainly where I focus. Let me know if you guys ever need anything. I'll be more than happy to support you. My name is Drew, and you come over there. My company is Frontera, so Joe Frontera. So drew@goFrontera.com is my email. Or call 433-DREW. Numbers 224.
Nice. Goes up. All right, let's take a break and we can come back. There's some pizza now, finally. Thanks, I forgot. And there's also drinks, so please help yourselves. Lunch. Oh yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna get a beer, make sure you're getting one in the. Also get together with Justin. He has T-shirts for you guys. Justin's walking around.
Kind of like usually people have like these stuff on, right? Yeah. But like the idea is it's gonna be like something tape there. It's also exponential. The idea is like you'll take off the bottom once you play. And the keeps you rotating. So like it's gonna give you allows you like 6 minutes split and we're now it's 20 minutes.
So you're going more long range further?
More, I mean, you should be able to lift the same amount. The idea is that now that it has like an airflow,
Yeah, is there a bottle there? Yeah, there's
stuff like that.
I think I'm after
You want to expand to have.
Well, I mean, the way to get you more details.
I need to continue. You got a second?
Oh, so you gotta rotate. First, I'll just stick on my phone. He wants to use your photo. It just is like, it all back to us in the first couple of there, now for us to go back to. Because it's those parts of the government. Well, I was gonna say. Yeah, that's your point? I didn't give you that. I mean, immediately. Thomas Stevens. Yeah, that's the idea. They actually went forward. That's the idea. Take off. That's the idea. Like I said, I'm sure you had thought of it already, but I just want to throw it out there. Another idea that we're trying to do is like, you see how the wind is really long. And I think it's not a lot of surface area. Recording stuff. It's closer to the bank. You feel like the wings get and I was saying that it basically pulls in like that. Yeah, and it expands out. Of course, these get smaller as you go out, but when you're out, it expands up to here and several levels. The wing flips. Well, kind of lands your direction or take off. The whole lift up. Once it's up, you just rotate it up. Rotate it once they're started well, once it's actually up, that's part it's going to take that much once you're up there. Yeah. That's the idea. That's the idea. It's not I'm just trying to be like, how can you really recognize? Because like, oil is break down and like fucking check right now, I'm thinking that having oil is right now. It's like not like 50%, but it's gonna come in. So forward. The thing about that the original idea first started. You know, this video.
What I was talking about earlier, you said about how Kickstarter is going bananas with this. They're we're going on while sport change positive. Was this campaign took place this campaign it's actually still, it's over on I saw them reading what photo, and then they like have a day and a half left. That last 36 hours, they raised an additional $1 million. Every 12. Yeah, every 12 hours. I guess they raised $100,000. Okay, so yeah, no. So this is what we did first. First thing was this one. And this was like literally over a year ago. It's just like you notice like there's no color. What they just do is take and also use more power. Like it doesn't have a bit more thrust. Like each one of those is really in the app per second. Like 22 volts. Now each drop. Put that back there's nowhere enough time. Like you kind of watch hundreds of watts.
So you found this voice is other PCP leases. They put out just like they have it all back first exam and it's number 3 months. So, yeah.
No,
I don't want to go back there.
But and then like that always was like 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 model, and this was completely by itself. It's an actual advantage of bear, and there was this spurt here on the other side, like independent. It's rear-wheel drive, like. We were actually pretty
I mean, if I were you,
No, it's actually designed by.
hey, there's a little bit of that. Go to place up. I got your message and I meant to call you. But listen.
The driving was really easy. Like, it just needs to go to the circle. So, and then just look for a throttle. Like, but whenever we bought that, we see that it's a lot more complex.
I'm really bad. Were they? Yeah.
Quadcopter light, but it's take off. And one of the main reasons why it's basically the difference back to the exact same. Yeah.
But I don't think you can go forward.
Yeah, but this is like, we're not doing this anymore, we're doing.
I know,
I personally have to agree. Actually, Jay,
I think there's a cost after part of doing it. I think the one problem with college is that like the flow, so getting attacking everything is very hard right there. Everything's like we're getting the rest out of it.
If you were gonna do, like, say, a hackathon, you're gonna do something specifically.
But yeah, no,
What about your one time a month?
or it says if you're using a spurt.
Are you talking about this specifically that you're doing today?
Right now, this is what we're doing once a month because I don't want to rival, But if you guys tell me that you prefer weekly versus monthlies, or yeah, something like that.
There's a really small market. There is.
You know, because if people working on projects once a month, you know, are constantly working. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be nice to have.
What if it grew? What if it grew from this museum? I don't know. Would you be okay with that? Oh, there you go.
It's all already done.
No, man.
The years.
I got a different Wednesday.
Yeah, it's 70 degrees.
If it's, we should just put them. Display a big image. Well, just
Why do you want to dress up? I mean, they are teach you here. That's like I really want to get that's what we're working on too. And I believe that Skyway. The idea is that like above regular roads, there's digital roads. Digital tunnels.
I covered what?
He's working on that, and so basically.
I know mine too, I can start up.
Going in opposite directions. There's gonna be almost like one dice drum. Oh. Well, it was for insurance. That's like,
And that's why I told them.
it's gonna be like an online service where you order it like on your tablet. Like, but it's gonna be like, you know, you're gonna have like a, you know, the guy at immediately you're like, it's gonna go to HTTP, your phone arrives for the minutes and oh, that's it, yes. Well, it's like the future. Like the thing about like consumers is that with the cost of that's just one aspect of it. Like, I mean, the other thing about this isn't just
Yes. And I'm
you're
doing.
in a position where you're at a location, you need something from a Renaissance, or you need something from somewhere that you don't want to go to a startup in your car and
No, I'm using
tell
the
yourself,
breaker that's.
that would not be possible. Yeah, exactly. Like it's still, like you get like in order to still be with people.
I was like, well, stream will tell you that in a year,
But yeah, that was just so. Also, because they had a lot of
Yeah, so basically what happens is for every what we've seen in the first years of it is that it goes by beacon to 7 for not just people for tracking devices, or shape it to divide it by 10. So it's beaconing every 10 milliseconds. For every 10 people, it's really one person. And you do that, but then you can tie the MAC address, and once they sign in, you know that. And you can't, it's just like, I can't play an advertisement to you if you're not, sorry, if you're not signed in, and if you just walk by, I can do something, I can play a commercial, so it's gonna customized until you sign in to the figures. Yeah, when that came out, it's like, oh, shit. What are you doing? You killed my entire, this thing that didn't exist yet.
And then all the developers are just like, 2 days ago, we got to fix.
Like, say,
Yeah. That's.
Depending on the program.
Yeah, so.
yeah, well, much times that we do it, we're always trying something new. A friend of mine, he's making it, and he was telling me that, yeah, we have a lot because he met a lot of people from the startup community on that side. And like he was trying to get wow. There's like a lot of stuff. So that's why I do right now. It's like any input that we can get on like you know what I do? That's where we're working like that lighting. That's what we're doing. You know.
So I like HP on my account.
And so that's how it works as well. Like yesterday, and he's also
So, usually this is
I was telling you guys, it's better at times. Today, I think there was 5 people that raised their hands, and I started talking to people over there, and they did every single person. Entrepreneurial, it's like, let's do this, buy internet, we have to do something, pretty commercial. There you go. No, yeah, that's true. The scale is different.
You was stealing my general.
This is mine. I think it's like maybe it's yeah, they want a quick return. Yeah, it's like, why should I go to your like, I'm like, so it's yeah, it takes a while. I'm not mad. In fact, I'm really glad that a lot of the same people are coming back. So that means that Facebook goes, we can do Facebook. What's your background?
Well, that's what you're
At work, we're gonna see probably people more time. We have to get rid of it right away. More likely it's gonna be done.
I see that. that's why we've already started this year. They put the request up and like we're going to do this year. A lot of people yeah, that was that's some things that you may be particular. And then I would like to categorize technology and for the entire all UI. I used to do 100 years. Yeah. How long have you done that? Right now, either HTML is 3, and right now we're doing yeah, that's here right now we're just talking and traveling. Next week we'll do the same thing. Right now we're looking for what's the difference here and one that you get obviously. Last night we talked about wireless. Yeah, he talked to us about Max MSP. Yeah, kind of interactive or visual programming. Basically, non-blocks and then connected dots. Then you Sensor systems. Right now, you can track where you are in position. Your flat, your well, but is it back or is that guy got to I don't know where they're at yet. Moving Some of them are the same one, but some other ones they I already know that there's presidents. It's still low. There was a phone made by no, it was an actual This is not low.
That's the good part. It's not the intellectual property.
On my side, didn't see you trying to do laptop and it came back.
Yeah, because I don't like HMO. I'm using this to bridge together. So this is what you want to do, chili, finger bread. So I'm walking, I'm walking to like a dentist office, right? And you're sitting there waiting, and then it's just on the wall beside you, and it plays advertising to the caterers and everything to you, and you just
Well,
That was.
So, shopkeeper, I don't know, basically, for iOS based, next week, it'll show walkbys, so fire rates are going down. So, every day.
I don't know what it's like. Did you do that?
Yeah, no, I did How is it? What do you have?
That's what I told you. I told you it's not working. Yeah, no,
It's just not gonna set. Like, all right, let it do it. You need to check it out. But does.
yes, that's why this event should I'll try to
okay with
I'll
that.
try it again.
But right now, just don't.
This is, well,
This is basically using words we want to emphasize. We're not doing it there, we're just using that as yeah. So when you get there, and you log into the Wi-Fi, once you log in, it controls your takes your likes and it compares what you like to the advertisements that are coming their way. So in this case, it's not the advertiser advertisement. I like the Budweiser. I didn't like Budweiser. Check this out. Let's try this. This will be good.
Yeah, check it out. It's really, it's just very cool. Like, you can run it on the machine. I think
Alright, so I'm logged into This isn't happening there. Yeah, it's not happening there. No, it's up to the advertisers. Like, let's say you golfers, right? Inside this person, like, has this golf balls. They walk in, it's very cool. She's alright. I remember now I changed it, I don't think what's better than it's really cool seeing We see our peers as similar Facebook. So, in order for this to be
They have to do this on Facebook.
So 6 hours. But now it's something. Size of words because it makes it seem like it's all sluggish. So it's a hang on this right now. So now it's straight. It's gone out. It's pulled that data. Yeah, well, it doesn't get rose gold. So check out the proportion. It should be a photo. It's still our quad because we changed the preferences that now are removable. So there you go. Whereas before, all we did was change what I liked that I would let me know it. So I understood all of it until I saw it. Okay, that's what I was.
It's gonna be the first time they're gonna do the training class. This is the best kind of coding, actually.
I didn't do anything, it just worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so
It's actually,
so there you go. So that's my bad. No. So it started off first as music acid. That's okay. Did you say that? Oh, yeah. What do they like? Let's see. They like GGB. Yeah. That was the whole time. Exactly. And so it's like, well, the bars are just sports games. Josh,
Something about project management, software development style. I'm going to be yelling over here in this corner. You guys want to talk? Well, who doesn't want to join me so that way we can go the opposite direction? All right, everybody wants to join me, so that's good. Come on over. So we're going to wing it. This is the first tour that we're going to do because we should have an extra hour. I feel like we should take advantage of it. So who people know Scrum or have worked with it before? All right, you guys move this way. Move to the front.
Don't leave.
Because I have my experience working with Scrum, but they are more agile, extreme programming. They'll tell you what that is, and you can compare the differences. Scrum or project management, all it is like getting shit done. GSD. A lot of like the way it used to be, and it still is mostly in the valley, is you draw a waterfall, right? You start by saying, we're going to get this stuff A done, then that's going to be this long, and then we're going to do B, that's going to be this long, and C. And then if we get blocked by B, then we don't do it. And sometimes we use things in parallel, if we have team members, right? Waterfall. But with Scrum, what's the problem with that, though? Let's start with that. What's the problem with waiting on waterfalls and, like, trying to plan the whole system ahead of time?
Dependencies.
All right. All teams. All right.
Waterfall.
All right. So what's wrong with waterfalls? Dependency. It's a good one. Anybody else?
Something messes up on the other layers of box.
Okay. How about we thought this was going to happen, we found out something else happened, right? So typical, you always think that it's going to go easily like this, but what happens? Plans always change, right? What you end up doing is, you start a waterfall where you just follow, and all this freaking time you doing that path, you realize that's not the way to go. You want to go to a different direction. And you end up scrapping everything, right? So one of the main principles of Scrum is you do things in short intervals. And the largest interval is 1 month. Does that make sense? Sometimes in a big project, you just go 1 year planning it out. Or like doing everything and then realizing, hey, the market doesn't demand it. So what do? So Scrum is that. This is all under the whole umbrella of agile development, which means you look at feedback. Scrum, there's a nice video, and I'll post it on Twitter and all this other stuff for you guys to read it or watch it. But it shows you that nice little, in development you have like the input from the outside, and then you do things on your planning, and then you do some work, and then you come back. But there's no systematic things going on that loops back to doing things. So I'm not going to go over that, but just another one of the principles is that you need more feedback, right? So if you just go about doing things on your own, or if you assign something to somebody and they just do it. Do you guys do Scrum or Agile development?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys come here too. Welcome, by the way. Yeah, move over here. So anyway, am I saying it correctly so far about the ideas of Scrum and Agile that you want constant feedback, you want short intervals, you want everybody engaged? Which is another problem in most project development is that you have one person doing all the work and planning everything out, and everybody else is kind of like lemmings. You know, you tell them what to do, what to think, and how to work. And what Scrum and Agile is more, everybody gets independence and control, and everybody has a say, and you get to hear them. So it's the same thing as project management, but with more focus on different areas of it. And I know I've been using it for a while, and it has helped me to work with other people, and it also has helped me to stay honest with myself. One of those feedback is about evaluating yourself. Am I actually doing the same performance that I was a week ago? What blocked me from doing something? And how can I make sure that it's nice in the future? And you just keep growing from it. Kind of like guidance and quantified self. So anyway. Any other thoughts? Like what's the difference between XC?
Roles. You have roles, right? You have the customer roles.
Yeah.
You have the,
So let's write down the rules.
so you have product owner.
If anyone can not see this, move up.
We can simplify the roles to very what everybody can relate to, which would be the project manager, the product owner.
Facilitator?
Yeah, the associate, the product owner. The customer role. That was really
Facilitator and the team, right?
Yeah, and then you have the, there's one more, which is your graphic person. But they go into the team.
They go into the team, yeah. And then product owner, you have also what's called the principal states, right? Anybody else that is interested. So to put it in terms of like the museum, you can think of the product owner as the marketing director. And the principal state owners would probably be the chairman, the director, you know, everybody else. They don't really have active input, like on the teamwork. The product owner talks to the facilitator, and it's a partner, really. There's a barrier between all of them because just imagine if the director talks to one of us and says, you need to work on this, and then goes over there and says something else. That's why you need a firewall between all of them, and that's what the facilitator does. So that's another one of those concepts of like, okay, everybody has a role to play, and as a team, everybody is one cohesive entity. And the facilitator is really the only one that gets to talk to the outside. And if somebody from the team gets to talk to the product owner, they say, don't talk to me, talk to the facilitator. And we'll get to why that's really important. Is there anything else that we should
You can break it down into developers,
yeah.
testers, and your UI. There's a name for that one. Can't remember what that is.
Yeah, you can define different roles within it. Sometimes in Scrum, you can even define because everybody can do everything. Designers, especially when you get into the concept of pair programming. Is anybody familiar with that? All right, there's some over here. So let's say that Roger, you're really good at creating 3D design, right? 3D models. I don't know anything about it, but let's say that in the amount of work that we have to do that, and you're already busy doing something else. What happens to the rest of us? We get blocked, we don't do anything, right? Because we're depending on one person. So pair programming is that when you're working on the 3D printing, you have somebody right next to you, and they can ask you questions like, why did you just choose SolidWorks versus Sketch or something? So that's the idea of pair programming, is that you try to transfer your knowledge, your body of knowledge to other people as much as you can. So that, the UI person is no longer UI, it's just part of the team. And in fact, a tester might have more of a perspective on UI. Like, don't do it that way because it's never be able to test it unless I use, like software or something. But anyway, so these are the roles. Do you guys want to add anything to this? Oh, okay. Okay, so these are the rules, and let's talk about some of the other rules. And we should do it in a practical case. Let's say that we want to develop an app, and we're doing an app where we're just registering the members in the museum. So as a product owner, I'll be the product owner, you'll be who wants to facilitate. So you can see an example. Alright, okay, we have a facilitator, and the rest of you guys will be the team. Okay, so as a product owner, I say I want to make sure that when they sign on, that they get reminded every single month that memberships are up. Okay, so what would you do as a product facilitator?
First, I would add that as a statement, as an objective.
But rather than write everything down, I'm just going to do like 1 or 2 word phrases.
Yeah, so register.
So register.
And then register would have a backlog.
So yeah, this would be the backlog. And these terms are just terms that they came up with so that everybody has the same jargon. The backlog is a list, a big list of things that needs to be done. Okay? So one of them is they need to register, another one is
We need to write the data. So we need data.
the database, let's call it database export, right? Like practical action items. Okay, you need to export database. If you're doing an app where people are registering emails and you get reminded of stuff, what else could they do? I mean, let's look at the audience involved and like, what could that app do? Support iPad, right? So you just, as a product owner, I tell them what I want, which is the what. Make sense? The what of what I need, right? And we can keep going with this list. And you do this at a point where it's called the backlog refinement. So you meet with the product owner, say a typical meeting, say before you start the project, and you say, what are your requirements? When are we going to get paid? So you tell them what is going to satisfy them, and what I'm explaining here is that under each of them, you ask for acceptance criteria, right? Support iPad acceptance criteria is obviously getting on the iPad and actually does what it needs to do. So that's an easy acceptance criteria. Database export could be JSON export, could be CSV export. So it's you as a facilitator and as a team, you guys talk to the owner and say, what do I need to get paid? How are you going to be happy with this?
The deliverables.
Yeah, deliverables, exactly. So the what's. So that's the backlog. And then one of the other cool things is that we just developed the what, which is the interface, just the basic idea. And then you develop you guys as a team, they would get together in a different time. And based on the backlog, they would start developing the sprint. So that's another term that we haven't got over, but the sprint is basically an interval. And so interval of work basically. And like I had mentioned earlier, it's 30 days, 2 weeks. Most recommended is 2 weeks. You can do it as small as a week. So let's just say that in a week, we'll do 1 week in a month. Or let's do 2 weeks, because the story I'm gonna share with you guys is 2 weeks. That way, when you get back home and look at it, you guys can compare the notes. So in 2 weeks, let's say that we got together already for the backlog and we built it. Let's say on Monday, you're gonna get together for 2 hours, and you're gonna do the sprint planning. So, have I lost anybody with all these jargons yet? Maybe. So you see that we need to plan actually, because this is just what? Like, as myself as a director of the museum, I don't really know how to code. I don't know what it needs to get done to get it done. So I need to work on the how. Make sense? So the sprint planning, the facilitator makes sure that everybody is on task for those 2 hours. And it's literally those 2 hours that you need to get together. Like, you end at 1 hour, there's something wrong. If you can still keep doing something cool with these things, right? You can still figure out, okay, registration, what does that mean? Well, we need to work on the UI, we need to do this. So in the sprint planning, you create another list based on the what. You start talking about the backlog, PEI's tasks, right? I guess they're all tasks on the backlog. Yeah.
Especially another batch.
Yeah, so it's another log basically. We just call it simply a log or a sprint log.
There it is, the sprint.
Yeah, sprint log. So let's say that we're gonna we look at all these things and we start figuring out what is actually involved in doing it. So registration, put it simply, there's a UI, there's a complete UI design, rather, and then there's the JavaScript implementation, and then there's the testing of the JS implementation, the testing of the UI. So you build a list of all the how am I going to get this done, right? In the sprint log. And based on what you guys figure out, you start scoring, right, the backlog items. What is this scoring? This is one of those concepts that was developed for this framework. Because once the team gets together, they're looking at the amount of work and they get to tell the client, we can only do this much within the interval that we said we're going to do, right? Because the client, all they care about is getting it done, and they want it done yesterday. So what you have to do is negotiate with them. Because imagine if you tell them that within those 2 weeks we'll have all the things done, and you don't get it done. What happens? The client is really upset. Because you told them something and you did something else. So part of this framework is for you to actually be honest with them and they can trust you. Most of the work that is done in the Valley, they are without knowledge of how it actually gets done. So you actually invite them to be part of this plan. The product owner, if he or she wishes, they could be looking at how you guys are assembling all the house. How is it going to get done? And the planning. So let's just say that for the registration, and the scoring could be, it depends on the team, and how do you guys do your scoring? Do you guys do scoring?
No.
Don't do scoring? Do you guys do scoring?
We practice at state, we don't score. But we did score on one of our projects, and it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Very important.
So like all these principles that I'm explaining, everybody picks at it differently. But the most important part is the feedbacks and doing interval work. But anyway, like let's say the scoring. Each of us would have a card, 4 cards. We'll just call them small, medium, large, and extra large. Okay, and each person has a different background. I'm a JavaScript guy, so I'm really good at JavaScript. So if I look at the JavaScript implementation, I'm going to score it differently, right? So each person, designer, system developer, etc. Each person votes on it, and you get a common consensus. So UI design might say, you know what, looking at it amongst ourselves, nobody gets to look at the card that they pick. And then when they raise it up, everybody sees it, and they can argue or negotiate about it. Like, is it really like extra large work? So if it is extra large work, then you start realizing, oh, you know what, it's really heavy because we're trying to do a lot of things with this one item, registration. So because we have talked about it, we have negotiated with the team, you realize registration is too big. We gotta cut it down into just capturing the first email rather than validating the email and preventing hackers, blah blah. Spam, etc. So for now, you went from something that is so vague as register to defining, I'm going to register a person with email. And then later on, register somebody with a GitHub account, and so on. So that's part of this whole process of talking about it, and getting people involved. So anyway, you store everything, and you realize, okay, you end up, let's say you put a number to it, or this is an extra large, and we're going to do this extra large, this is small, and this is large. Based on the scores and the first round that you do it, you don't know how fast things are going. Because this is your first time working with the team, then you might just pick mediums and smalls for the first round. Or actually, I didn't talk about this, but the product owner gets to choose which is the most important role. So that way you get to decide, since it is extra large, we can probably just do the first two in this 2-week sprint. Does that make sense? So you negotiate with them based on the amount of work that you're assuming is going to take place. And you only do that. Are we cool on that? So you decide on that. Let's say you decide on this, you're going to do the 2-week sprints. One of the other rules that you have to do is that every single day after that, you get together what's called a daily scrum. And what do you do at a daily scrum? Okay, you do a stand-up meeting. And how long does that stand-up meeting take?
Well, typically they talk about it being pretty short, but I know check down the team size.
Yeah.
So I would say the shortest end, maybe like 15 minutes, and on the longest end, maybe like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Just because it forces people to be more concise about really explain what they've done, what they're attempting to do, if they need help, and if they've had any problems.
Is that cool? Do you guys do daily scrum, daily setups?
Absolutely.
And are those the 3 questions that you guys do, or do you use any other questions?
We do a review of what's, those 3 questions, we don't ask them, but we answer them.
Yeah, because it's a routine now.
Yeah.
We have to put exactly. So for people that don't know, the 3 questions are quite simple. What did I do? What am I going to do? And what does blocking mean? Right? So imagine if we're all working on the same project, how cool would it be that we all know where everybody is at? Especially in most traditional work environments, you don't know what anybody is doing. Everybody gets together, just headphones are just like, I don't know what's going on. It's are they even alive? They might just be asleep or something. They're probably on Facebook. So anyway, this keeps you honest with your team, right? Everybody gets to know exactly what everybody's working on and what is everybody working towards. And I'm not showing you the example here. I could probably get the other board, but there's another board. This backlog, the sprint planning with what you're going to do this week, it's actually a wide board that you can, I wish we had our own space, and maybe that's something we can talk about later, but we need a lot of whiteboards, because when you do Scrum, you want everything visually available, because then you can clearly see where the project is going, and why are we slowing down, and what's happening. But anyway, let's assume that we have a whiteboard, and on the left side we have the backlog, the next column is the sprint planning log, the log that we have that we're going to do this week. And then there's another column that says ongoing, we're currently working on. And then there's another column where, yeah, exactly. So anyway, we have everything visual, and during the daily scrum, you get to move, you get some,
So what he's talking about are just like a storyboard, and he has these it's like a Kanban system. You guys are familiar with manufacturing. You grab like a cart that we were talking about. Those cards, in each column where they go. People usually use these notes. Later you write them. There's online software that does this too.
yeah,
In a nutshell, each story has a description and a bunch of to-dos in that story itself, assigned to a person.
yeah, exactly. So let's call the orange ones, the backlog items, which is this. Right? So you just have these right up against each other in a column. And then at some point, you're going to develop these, right? The how-tos. So you're going to put it right next to each other. It's kind of big, but put right next to each other all the things that this page does.
We got the storyboard, right?
Yeah.
We don't really use that, but we were surprised, like, we got.
Yeah. So anyway, you put down what are the hows that need to get done for each of them, right? This one has one, that one has two, this one has 4 things. This is at the beginning of the week. And every single day, you take these guys and say, you know, alright, so you have the PBI, and then you have the sprint log, and then you have the not started, because we have but I just put it as ongoing. And then you have the final one, which is the done. So basically, you have these 2 columns, and every single day you get to see the progress. So the next day, you talk to somebody and they say, okay, I just finished this one, or rather, I'm working on this one today, and I finished this one. You know, next day, wherever. You get the point. So you move things on the right side, and then at the end of the week, you have the demonstration. Does everybody do demonstration with their clients, or how do you guys do that?
We do iterations, we make deployments, and we base like a module, we deploy that module, we test that module, show them, review that module with the customer role, involve the person, make changes, put that back into production, or back the product back up, then review it so that we get it.
What do you guys do? Do you guys do like demonstrations with clients every week, or what do you guys do?
Some clients, well, the clients are really open to doing the weekly things that would help, but typically we'll maintain a stable environment for managing, we're continuing to deploy to, since we're pretty much doing our testing online, following the development, we don't, I mean, it's never really in a broken state.
Okay, exactly. So that was one thing that I wanted to cover is that they're always shipping, they're always deploying, they're always getting the customer's feedback, the product owner's feedback, and it's always in a working state. So, put it this way, if we were going to launch this thing and we gave it a 2-week turn to get something out, like just working, how cool is that, right? There's probably a lot of companies here that are not practicing this, and they've done great jobs for a long time like, with their clients. But it takes them 2 months, 3 months to launch something. It might get done, like it might get completely done, but they're probably going to find a lot of bugs, right? Like as a product owner, I said, well, I want them to register, and I want them to register with Facebook. But if you wait 2 months to figure that out, that means you have to go back to the board and actually do it. Whereas if you do it in 2 months, 2-week sprints, you quickly get the person's feedback and say, oh, you wanted Facebook. Oh, that's no problem. We'll get it done based on what we have. That's part of the conversation. It's like, okay, you want that, and we add it to the list. Looking with it with my team, it looks like that could go on the next one. So that's the negotiation part. So anyway, does this make sense that at the end of the week, you get together with the product owner, or in some teams' cases, you might not even get with them, and you just do an internal demonstration? Because every single person that does something, let's say that somebody wants to get registration done, and small teams, it's one person doing one whole feature. Then how cool is it that every single person feels empowered or entitled or whatever to actually say, here's what I did, check out what I did. And you get people's feedbacks, right? And you get people's accolades. So that's one of the cool things that I really subscribe to is basically getting feedback immediately within those 2 weeks. And you can apply this to journalism or anything, where you just want something that, like, especially if you're writing a book. I have a couple of friends who wrote books, and they did everything themselves, and they never got feedback until like full chapters were done. Nobody wants to read full chapters. I mean, to read the whole thing, I have to explain every single chapter what was the problem with it. So you can apply it with anything what we're learning today. I'm missing anything from basic practices.
This is
okay. At the end of the week, there is one more thing. At the end of the week, you actually have a team reflection or like a team discussion where you actually evaluate each other. So again, this is all about teamwork. This is all about feedback. So imagine if you wait 1 year to do performance reviews. Some companies don't even do them. They just have papers, right? Like, if you're the best programmer inside the workforce and the team, then you're just comfortable, right? More than likely, people around you are afraid of you, or afraid of the product owner, or anything. They're just like they're constantly being watched out for, right? Is this happening or what? Okay, see, so you guys should practice more of the reflection. question, because what you end up doing is, nobody's really gonna point fingers, maybe. But you're gonna go over what did actually happen during those 2 weeks, right? What is it that we can do so that the next 2 weeks will not happen again? And it's really important. A lot of people don't reflect. And reflection is a big thing that we need to do as far as engineering or development or even this event. That's why I always ask for feedback. Because we might have this concept of where we're going, but you guys, for example, might want to go somewhere else. And I'd rather find out about it sooner rather than later. So this just gives you a quick guide. Basically, is there anything else you want to talk about Scrum or Agile or Stream programming?
Scrum. Okay, this simple process, this existed since I think the 80s, and it makes you money. It makes you a lot. It saves on production. It saves on mistakes. It's very efficient. You're very efficient. You're better with your clients, and you feel like you can take on maybe 2 projects at a time efficiently, do them correctly because you have the product backlog, you're playing it, and then you have your roles, the team members, you have your daily scrum, which shouldn't last more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And everybody knows what's up for that sprint. And it's very complicated. It's really good for a small business. So if you guys are independent,
I know, like, I'm a one-person team, and I still use it. Okay, I keep myself in check, basically. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Did you guys change this? Did you think that's wrong with what you guys learned from it? Or?
well, I know, like, like, one of the main events in Canada was basically the longer something was in production, pretty much the longer it was making money. So, like, occasionally, but, like, we kind of mix in on, like, a lot of people, like I said, were doing software development for a while, don't prescribe to one methodology. We mix in a couple, and some of the stuff I was having to do that in there. So occasionally we pipe through stuff like as fast as we can because strategically it might be a good decision. I guess outside of that, I would say generally the short feedback loops are extremely useful. The burn down, which is like the reflection of the actual project, is absolutely necessary for a team to really understand each other and I guess to respect each other's job roles. A lot of organizations will kind of segment their project managers and designers and testers and the developers away from each other, but really, I guess really now a lot of firms we have like a mix, like a lot of this stuff is really mixed into each other. I mean, we don't have dedicated testers, and all of our software developers are also writing tests. We test for development. All the designers doing our front end engineering stuff, but they're pretty much involved the whole way through. So
Yeah, right. So putting it in perspective as far as CodeRGB, which is what we talked about earlier, about projects, is that I want to apply Scrum. I want everybody that does the project for CodeRGB or even independently to really take up Scrum. Because like I had mentioned, we could do the demonstration on Tuesdays. At Tuesdays, at the end of the month, we can do a demonstration on the gardens and how things are moving forward. I mean, it's really like a 10 minutes, 15 minute presentation. And then we can, and then every last Thursday or whatever we decide, we can do the sprint planning, basically. Or we can decide to do another one where we do the product backlog. And obviously, people can scatter into different things, but this just makes people more cohesive. So, hopefully this little quick starter gives you an idea and interests you into learning more about it. There's I think it's called ScrumReferenceCard.com. And I'll post a bunch of them where you guys can get more of a much more explanation than just what you heard today. Like I know I listened to a couple of videos, like 10 minutes each, and you get a quick idea of what's going on. So a lot of free stuff available.
Good books out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I can tell you that as far as job placements, like we had mentioned, there's small firms that are actually doing it here, but outside of the valley, I mean, I don't want you guys to leave, but I also don't want to hinder you guys from, improving your careers. But at Google, we use Scrum. We use Agile development. So each team has their own thing. Spotify, they do it as well. Facebook, a lot of the teams do it. So I encourage you to just make it part of your own culture. Any,
Oh, you should probably mention, you mentioned extreme programming and the sustainable pace about that like typically if you're doing like in your day-to-day work that you try not to exceed like 90 minutes of straight work before, and more or less because like effectively people can work longer than that without there being this deterioration in productivity. So you can be really comfortable with, sprinting, like doing a short development time, and taking a break to actually look at stuff. I know developers are really familiar with this, because occasionally you go down a rabbit hole, and you can be there for like 6 hours straight, and then, like a little bit later you come back to it, and you're just like, oh yeah, you just kill it, kill like, 10 minutes, you're just like, you're looking at it wrong all the time.
that's why I love those.
Yeah. So sustainable pace is actually really important in keeping you effective, even when it kind of feels like it's not. It feels that way, but ultimately, like it's proven to be really, really useful.
So you're getting into the work environment, how you want to design it, how you want to position it, how you prepare programming, how you do your iterations and all that. But this is the basic. I think this is basically, if you start practicing this, you'll be able to do the other stuff once you have this and
Yeah. Any final thoughts, questions? Because, a lot of us have experience with it. Maybe you have your own experience about how to do your own management and planning. Maybe you guys can teach you something. All right. Go ahead.
Any online resources you can learn more about?
Yeah, I'm gonna post a lot on Facebook and PhotoRGB, and I'll probably do like a blog post for PhotoRGB or either Tech Tuesdays. That way you guys can have those resources. Did you guys like this? Was this useful? Do we want to keep doing like a monthly, like little training thing, like 45, 30 minutes thing? Is this, good?
Yeah. Maybe we could do a daily scrum.
Yeah, well, see, okay, let me ask you this. How do we go about doing like a daily, like how do we keep up with each other? Because I have my ideas, but it could be something simpler. Do we want to do like a hashtag PhotoRGB DS, daily scrum, or?
That's cool. I like that. Yeah. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do we want to do that? Like, we just want to follow each other? However, like, I can just tweet something like, I'm at the restaurant, yes, or.
Does everybody have a LinkedIn and a GitHub account?
Yeah, who's not social? So we can point you out.
All right, Crunchbase or something. What's the other one?
Crunchbase.
Crunchbase. And
Yeah,
all of those.
Crunchbase.
Just, we can create a group there.
Yeah, GitHub, Crunchbase, and those two companies in particular, they're actually following us. Particular Crunchbase, they're keeping tabs of our companies in the valley. I helped them to reorganize the regions in the area. So now you can actually do research, like a search for companies in the account, and you can actually find them. Check Crunchbase.
Well, the other ones where you sort we can all try, like GitHub, just for project management.
Yeah.
Is there a product, I don't think for myself,
Yeah, and so what I recommend is there's a lot of software out there. I particularly just use Trello.com. Does anybody use Trello by any chance?
Trello?
Yeah, Trello. Yeah, so I use Trello and I use this. I'm actually going to create a little adapter to Trello, like API to it, so that I can optimize my code rather than doing a lot of complicated whatever.
For our backlog, so we have 2 lists right now.
Yeah.
It's good, and then,
Yeah, it's really simple. Yeah, but I think I'm looking for the actual development backlog, or everything works out pretty well.
Yeah. So anyway, let's keep talking to each other, figure out how we can do like a follow each other without having to actually meet physically together. Because this is 2014, so we should be able to do things offline. Oh yeah, Basecamp, sure. Basecamp.
I haven't used it forever. It's high-rise.
Yeah.
Basecamp.
iRise is a CRM, Basecamp is a project. I kind of like this.
Basecamp. Hey, to interrupt while everyone's attention, Olin and I have been talking about this, kind of back and forth. I've asked some of you independently. What are y'all? I want to know your thoughts on moving the time, maybe the day, and the location of this.
Yeah, so we have three questions basically, so we'll go one by one.
Okay, so first the time, well, first the location. Location, we're here, it's been ready, we are taking up gallery space, and if bigger exhibits come in, it might limit our place where we can hold this event. We've been offered to move over to the McGowan Creative Incubator. It'll still be the same type of concept, there's no charge, we can show up, we can still have beer, we can turn on music, we've got access to the entire facility there. As far as time, we can keep the same time that we have now. We can move it to a different day, Thursdays versus Fridays. And on either of those days, we've got access to the entire clock. So we can start it later, we can make it last longer. If you want to start it instead of 6, if you guys think starting at 7 might be better, pushing it until 10, or till midnight, or till the last person goes home, we can accommodate that. From a floor plan perspective, it gives us space to do a lot of different stuff. I don't know if you've been there, but we're talking about using the entire second floor. It's a huge open area. We've got tables that we can pull out and use. There's also storage, so we'll need some more stuff behind it. Good option there. So my question to first, do you think it's a show of hands if you think it would
We
be?
can do flashy hands.
Yeah, flash hands.
Flashy hands for yes.
Who's on board with moving it to the incubator?
All right, large number.
Does everybody know what the incubator is? Does everybody go to Bay Fair, the old library of Maine and Hackberry?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's against moving it to the incubator?
All right.
Okay, so, cool, all right.
We have a little more access to like internet service.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big sell.
So yeah, my company's actually upgrading on the Wi-Fi, but it'll all be 8 to 11 AC by the time.
How about hours?
Now, hours, yeah, do we want to keep it starting at 6, going from 6 to 8?
Let's try the negative. Who doesn't want longer hours? Is 3 hours good, or is that too little?
I think it's good.
3 hours is good for you?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Anybody else think it's too little?
Should we do more? Side heads do more? Side heads do less?
All right, so
3 to 4.
3 to 4-ish.
Okay, is 6 o'clock an okay starting time, or do you want it bumped up to
Yeah.
7?
I think 30 minutes more.
6?
So that, yeah, 7's a good time, 6:30 is a good time, because at 6, when something doesn't work, you stay like 20 minutes.
Okay. So tentative starting at 7 o'clock, get there at 6:30, and people will be there at 6:30?
Well, except for the same.
Something like that.
Well, are we good for 7 then?
So
You
7.
would be okay with that?
What about going later, 7 to 10, or do you want to keep it, is that okay with you guys, 7 to 10? 3 hours?
Shiny ass folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thursdays versus Fridays.
Yes.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
We've got access to do it any day of the week, so if you think Tuesdays are better, then.
Yeah, let's start with the pairs. Thursday versus Friday. Thursdays?
Yeah, there's lots of support.
All right, Thursdays.
Fridays.
All right. Fridays?
Yeah, no one wants to go.
Okay. Just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity, since we're already having a convention, just out of curiosity, what about Saturday?
Yeah, what time? What was it?
Saturday is 6 to 10, or 7 to 10, sorry. Saturdays? All right, so that's it then, okay, so we're very happy with Thursdays then.
Thursdays. Okay. What else? Any special requests?
Or beers?
Did we run out? Did we run out? It's the first time we did it. Did we run out?
No.
Or are you talking about selection?
I don't know.
And we could probably do what I'm more focused here, do like a happy hour results, either before or after,
Yeah.
so that we can all go over there and.
Get our code on.
What else?
There wasn't even pizza.
Yeah. No.
You know what? I actually got 2 more than I usually do, so you guys are hungry.
Yeah, so getting out of where I guess. Okay, so then Thursdays, the incubator 7 to 10, starting next month.
Well, it looks like
I
everybody's.
got a suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make it a first group project. We should make like some sort of war room together.
War.
I'm sure you know what that is, Google made the war room.
Yeah, well, it is, we usually only do it when we're like running something. Yeah.
Right, like, I built a war room easily for like $80.
Okay, you could do something like that.
There's actually, a board-like room at the incubator on the second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have access to that.
But there's only one.
There's one,
Okay.
There's only one.
but there's multiple rooms in there that we can have access to. So if you think about the second floor, it's a big open floor plan. But we could use either the conference rooms and the idea lab.
Okay,
Let's
good.
open it up on that Thursday.
And let's find out.
Get started.
So, one more question, very important.
Yeah.
Once a month or twice a
Oh,
month?
yeah.
You have access, why not do twice?
All right, twice?
Twice a month.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
All right, so who's gonna run it then?
We will need volunteers to help out with that because between Olmo and myself, I go out of town a lot and he's busy, so if you guys wanna take the step up. and,
Yeah, be able to welcome people. We're not in control here, okay? I mean, I need you guys to lead, but we're not.
No.
Well, thank you guys for coming, share, let everybody know, and everyone can go and stuff. And we'll keep you guys informed about the location and stuff. Thank you.
It's on Main Street and Hackberry. It's the only California. On interweb nets.
Yeah. No.
You know what? I love them. Especially Saturday night. So I don't know what you want to do.
So Silicon Valley, thank you for totally doing it right.
So what's your vision?
I
Oh, cool, man. So, you can help me over there. I'll tell you, you're gonna tell
you know the Cisco like that, so I'll pull someone out.
I don't know if you guys can tell you, so.
So right now, that's.
You gave a little bit of
Okay.